We are back from the weekend. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse. Welcome to the second week of September 2025. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV is 125, and around the world is myjoyonline.com. My name is Elton Brobe. Good afternoon and welcome. This afternoon, South Africa's Deputy Foreign Minister flies in to intervene in the impasse between government and DSTV as the potential termination of the company's TV license looms. Meanwhile, a committee chaired by Ghana's Communications Minister has begun deliberations on DSTV's pricing formula. But will anything change? We'll find answers here on the Pulse. Also coming up, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly moved to shut down Tinker Island. The notorious Ashtown drug den exposed in Joy News' deadly doses documentary.
We can get rid of everybody. But once the supply has not been curtailed, we will still have job to do.
But behind this decisive action lies a harsher truth. The Assembly itself is drowning in debt, struggling with shrinking revenue and ballooning judgment debts.
As we speak, we have a judgment debt of over 142 million, which I'm handling. The judgment debts alone, over 142, not the entire debt of KMA. The entire debt of KMA is way beyond that.
And I have an exclusive interaction with the KMS Chief Executive, Richard Ajiman Oforibuadi, also known as Kinzuba. These and many more coming your way in today's edition of The Pulse, brought to you by Defend Drill, Cough, Espeto, and Defend Drill. Breathe easy, feel better. When we return, we'll settle with the issues. And of course, we are also live on X Spaces, on YouTube, and of course, on Facebook. My name is Elton Brobe. Now, let's start with a matter that will not go away anytime soon, at least for the next 14 days. South Africa's Deputy Foreign Minister has arrived in Accra to mediate the standoff between government of Ghana and MultiChoice Ghana, operators of DSTV, as the company faces a potential license termination. The intervention follows a directive from the Communications Minister, Sam George, ordering MultiChoice to reduce its subscription fees by September 21st or risk a total shutdown. A committee chaired by the minister himself has already begun deliberations on DSTV's pricing formula. But will anything change? We'll find answers here on the Pulse. First, though, here's the Communications Minister, Sam George, revealing last Friday that MultiChoice Ghana had agreed to reduce their pricing.
Choice has requested a 30-day window for the committee to arrive at what percentage of reduction will be achieved. So let's be clear. They have finally accepted that there will be a reduction. Now they want us to discuss the level of reduction. I believe, as minister, that we do not need 30 days. 14 days is enough for us to reach this decision, inclusive of weekends. Therefore, the committee has a strict 14-day mandate, inclusive of weekends, to conclude its work and present a suitable price reduction structure for the people of Ghana by the 21st of September 2025.
So that was the Minister for Communication on Friday. Now, few hours after that news conference on Friday, the official mouthpiece of MultiChoice, they said no such agreement was reached regarding the decision to reduce price. Let me bring you that statement here on your screens. And this is what MultiChoice put out after that news conference by the Communications Minister, Sam George. The statement says that we have noted the statement made by the Minister for Communications, Technology and Innovation, Honorable Sam George. We continue to engage with the Minister in a bid to find an amicable solution that is beneficial for all parties involved, but does not jeopardize the viability of the DSTV service. And then the final part of that statement is that we will fully participate in the established working committee. However, we wish to clarify that MultiChoice Group has not agreed to price reduction. So this is what the MultiChoice released some few hours after the minister's statement, making it clear that they had not agreed to reduce prices. So where are we now? As I mentioned early on, South Africa's Deputy Foreign Minister has arrived in Accra to mediate the standoff between governments on one hand, led by the Communications Minister Sam George, and MultiChoice Ghana. Whilst the committee chaired by the Communications Minister has already begun deliberations on DSTV pricing formula, let's explore the implications of this impasse to Ghana's reputation. And I'll be joined in the studio pretty soon by an international relations expert. But in 1994, after South Africa's elections, a lot of people decided that it was time to do business with South Africa. Now, MultiChoice entry into Ghana, then it was, MNET, MultiChoice entry into Ghana, was led by, Mr. Herbert Mensah. And he joins me on Zoom because he has an interest in this matter, and he's also been working behind the scenes to try and resolve this matter once and for all. Mr. Mensah, always a good time to speak to you. Good afternoon, welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon, Nelson.
Right, so today we are not talking about rugby, we are not also talking about football. We are talking about MultiChoice. And in 1994, you opened the way for MNET to operate in Ghana. Indeed, you happen to be the first country manager for MultiChoice. So tell us, what is going on? Is it good for the image of the country and, of course, for MultiChoice as well?
Well, I'm not quite sure, Elton. If you say, is it good for the country? I think we are in interesting times. It's actually good to see a Minister of State actually appearing to bat for Ghana, if I can put it like that. I think that questioning the structure of any foreign investor in terms of the service it provides to the people is critical. And I think with MultiChoice DSTV, they are no different. They are in a semi-monopoly situation. But I'm not quite sure the exchange. I'm concerned more about the backwards and forwards. I find a little bit of it rude. I think that when we're dealing with ministers of state, unless it is they're totally wrong, we need to be careful in our rhetoric. And it certainly does not help, because at the end of the day, that is government, and they can pull the plug. The world has changed in many ways, and I think that DSTV themselves do need the help of the regulators. They do need the help of the minister. We're all aware, for those of us who are in the industry, that the world is moving. More and more people are moving towards streaming. More and more people are moving away. There are piracy and other related matters that DSTV would require the input and assistance, where possible, of the regulator of government. My friends in South Africa indicate to me that there are in excess of 170,000 to 190,000 odd subscribers in Ghana for DSTV. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. And then on the other hand, we also hear that there are more than 750,000 ghost boxes, people who are subscribing or using the technology, the same DSTV boxes or cards in other countries, and using them in Ghana. So it is not a satisfactory situation overall. And DSTV certainly needs the assistance of the government of Ghana until it decides to upgrade the technology in its boxes itself to regulate that. The minister himself, I find, has taken two positions which I find interesting.
Right.
One is that there is a whole tax issue and how much revenue comes back to Mother Ghana. And we all know that we're going through difficulties. So every minister, every portfolio has got to be upstanding in terms of what really is the maximum that one can get. And I'm talking not as a government official, as a private person. But if there are ghost boxes, if there are people who are essentially smuggling, if you can use that word in this context, then MultiChoice loses out and the government of Ghana loses out. And surely the only way to beat that is to actually drop the prices. I think when you then look at pricing across, it is normal. If the pricing is that exaggerated between Ghana and another country, and you take the tax quotient into consideration, then I'm not really quite sure what the argument is. I think that MultiChoice DSTV do need to find a way to show greater humility. I certainly I'm not a politician. If I was a minister, I would certainly not have that tolerance for the backwards and forwards and the kind of communication. And if I was still involved, and you're right, I was involved many years ago. Koos Becker, I consider a good friend, as was John Badenhorst and Etienne Haynes. I'm still very close with a lot of them. My advice would have been tread carefully. You know, silence is far better than I said, you said, I said, you said. You're not government.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the subscribers who don't understand it, or people who think it's a political statement, they should understand that I'm not political. I make the communication and the point from the point of view of A, understanding comms, B, being involved in the industry. Even in my area of sport, we're seeing more and more that people are moving away into the world of streaming,
right,
rather than going back into paid television. So I would recommend that they put the weapons away. And I'm not sure what a deputy minister is doing in Ghana discussing this, unless DSTV is suddenly owned by the state of South Africa.
But I mean, because you've been there before, I mean, you happen to be the first country manager for MultiChoice. In fact, you virtually led MultiChoice entry into Ghana. So in terms of pricing, what are the factors that a company like MultiChoice will consider in pricing to the extent that it differs? There's so many disparities in terms of its pricing model across the African continent. Somebody posted something on Facebook and said that the population of Nigeria is over 200 million, so it is just fair that MultiChoice will reduce their prices to $19 for the Compact Plus. And I asked the person, but looking at the population of Liberia, Angola, and the rest, Ghana's population is higher than these countries. Yes, Ghana is paying more than these countries. So in terms of fixing the price, I mean, because you've been there before, what do you think MultiChoice is considering in arriving at $54 against Nigeria's $19?
I'm not sure, but the person who you spoke to first clearly has no idea of how the business works. It's like saying Sky TV in England is X amount, and that in Iceland or in a smaller country should be double or triple the price. That is just such a non-business-like statement made out of ignorance. That's the only thing I can say to that. I think that there is a continental policy. I can't speak for MultiChoice today. Certainly when I was involved, it was called Mnet and not DSTV.
Right.
And there are a whole range of overheads. And on one side, we have to understand that MultiChoice and the structures, the people who brought it into Ghana, Richard Darko and his people, did a fantastic job. I think that it provides an extraordinary option for the wealthy. Because if you've got 34 million people and you have 170 or 190,000 subscribers, then it is an irrelevant service for the people. But notwithstanding that, I do think that it does add value. I think that there are things that could be developed further from the MultiChoice platform that would benefit the people of Ghana. We had a policy when we first started out, and clearly ownership has changed. It's no longer owned by one person. The NASPAS group who set it up, that's Koos Becker, it's moved along. I think you've got Canal Horizon and other people who are obviously investing for purposes of profit themselves. But certainly we were planning in those days, the discussion we had was that it should be sub 30 at any point in any kind of bouquet. Now, things have changed, but that does not mean that the regulator does not have to look after the interest of Ghanaians, does not have to look at and say what really is the best way forward. And Elton, really at the end of the day, as a business, because I speak as a businessman as well, we're always mindful when we enter into territories, and the relationship that we have with government, with regulator, is something that you factor in as far as your business is concerned. I don't like their responses out of order.
In fact, some have described their responses as, disrespecting the sovereignty of Ghana because of the way and manner they've gone about responding to the sector minister. But the sector minister himself, currently as we speak, is chairing a committee put together to look at the pricing formula. And the minister who has taken a clear position on this particular matter is chairing it. Is it the right thing to do at this very moment where, positions have been taken on the matter? Shouldn't rather this be left to an independent body to look at the issues between the two entities and then report to government and say that this is our recommendation, see how best you can implement it?
Well, I think that the issue I can only speak from as a non-politician. And if I was a non-politician dealing with this, I, as you know, consult for many, many companies, multinationals. And I always careful with the advice I give them as they interact with government. It doesn't matter whether the government is, in our case, an MPP government or an NDC government, you're still dealing with the regulator for the people. And therefore, you have to decide if it is that the minister says something that you don't like. You have the option of picking up the telephone. You have the option of inviting them for a cup of tea. You have the option of going through a third party. You have the option of calling the ambassador. You have the option of calling the chief of staff. You have many options to go and say, we don't want this to escalate. I think that something is being misunderstood in some ways. We want to invest more in Ghana. We have made substantial investments. We pay X amount of taxes. We want some consideration here. And we believe that this should be done quietly, privately, or otherwise. I think if you decide to respond kind for kind, then you have to be prepared for the consequences of it. Or you believe that you are that powerful, that irrespective of whether you think the minister is right or wrong, that you can actually come out and make the statements that you do.
My final question will be, is MultiChoice, adopting this posture because they themselves know that they're actually out of business. The entire business has been taken over by Canal France. And we are told that the measure will take effect from the end of this month. And so it's like we've already, checked out. Is that the same sense you get in view of the posture they have displayed all along in this discussion?
I don't think so. I think that MultiChoice is a very reputable organization. I really do. And I think that the divestiture of shareholding structures happens in business all the time. And I think it's certainly in the old days, Course had links with Canal Horizon, with Telepew, with many different organizations as you try to share content, technology, and your presence in different markets. So I wouldn't have thought so. And the shareholders behind MultiChoice Ghana themselves are astute businessmen. And I would imagine that they wouldn't just be raising their hands and saying, let this product disappear. They've enjoyed many years of good patronage from Ghana. And I think one needs to see, I would have assumed they would want to expand that, change it. In my view, you drop the price to increase the market, the number of people in market. You drop the price to stop the ghost decoders and the rest from neighboring countries. You drop the price to ensure that people don't want to go via streaming and other means to compete with you unfairly in the marketplace. And that can only come about if you have a good relationship with government. And I would encourage that.
All right. Mr. Herbert Mensah, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Mr. Herbert Mensah, in 1994, led the entry of then Mnet, now MultiChoice, into Ghana. He was the first country manager for Mnet, now MultiChoice. And it is on the basis of that we spoke to him to seek his expert advice on the way forward, as the minister chairs this committee to engage MultiChoice on the way forward. But in the studio is Dr. Ishmael Holovo. He's an international relations expert. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So how will this go away?
It seems to be a situation where people have taken entrenched positions. So the minister wants price reduction at all costs. Of course, being a political person, you should expect that he is looking at the political gain to be made. So where they have gotten to, somebody has to move. And I'm not sure the minister is ready to back down. So somehow MultiChoice have to realize that they have to, if they can't offer what he's demanding, something have to be offered. Also because if you look at how MultiChoice has done pricing in the past, where they constantly increase prices when the dollar was on the nosedive, where they justify that with the idea that because of forex, they are increasing it to meet operational costs and other things that are in dollar. Now, so it is right for somebody to think that once the dollar rate has dropped, you should also
reduce the price.
That's normal, because if you justify your increment with the forex rate, then it tells us that once the forex rate has dropped, then your prices must also drop. So at this point, they must recognize, as the speaker has said, that it's business. You have to drop the price, and you get more people to come on board, and you still make some saving here and there. And also because if you look at it very critically, you observe that at this point, we have a choice between DSTV staying or not staying. But I think the Ghanaian public has not helped the minister enough, because if the minister take this position and you are still subscribing, then you give the business the confidence to stand up. So if, for instance, the whole public has led a boycott, that will push the business to act perhaps in favor of the minister. So I think that in as much as people on social media supporting the minister, it has to go with real action. That is, if people begin to boycott the product en masse, that gives the business the indication that perhaps in actual fact people are feeling the heat of your price increases.
But in terms of international relations, I mean, this is a sovereign country, Ghana, and this is also a multinational company. In terms of international relations and how that impacts on the way forward, and how this matter has been handled, I mean, let's start from the Minister for Communication and the posture he's adopted.
Yes, I should think that he's trying to adopt that posture, but I think that he has taken too much of an entrenched position. Ideally, you should have given them the chance to bring up the price mechanism, how they arrive at those.
In fact, they were asked to present that. They failed to do so, and they were charged 10,000 Ghana cedis every day for failing to do so. And that's at Friday, according to the minister, they had not done so, and so 140,000 was outstanding for them to pay.
Yes, so I'm thinking that before you demand the price reduction, it is just natural that you look at what goes into the pricing. Because if, assuming they bring the document and then you observe that in actual fact what they were pricing is what should be the case, then it means that you have to come back to the public and say that you are wrong. But we pray that that's not the situation. Now, again, I think that he should be flexible enough to realize that his price, once you are going to negotiate, it can go anyway. And so, well, he's right to demand that for the sake of the public, comparing prices across countries, this should have been done. He should also realize that there are also other investors, maybe in this sector, that are looking at the positioning and maybe reading a lot of meaning into it. So I think that along with the money price increase, we must also continue to offer clear-cut clarification on what actually his demands are and how he thinks that other investors should not be worried about what's going on. Because if I'm an investor and then I look at a business environment where a minister can come up and demand price reductions, if it sends a lot of negative signals. But having said that, it's all about communicating the position of government vis-a-vis what's going on. That once, as I said earlier, once the company has used forests to justify increases, the minister is right to demand that you reduce it. So we must do so while offering assurances to other investors that Ghana is an open place to do business. But then again, we insist that you have to do business according to the laws and the regulations of this nation.
But this is, I mean, this morning, for example, we've been told of the arrival of the Deputy Foreign Minister for South Africa to try and see if we can mediate. I mean, has it gone out of hands to the extent that this has now become a diplomatic, you know?
Of course, if you look at the positioning, it has reached that stage where the company has taken virtually an entrenched.
But this is a company that has been sold to a France company.
Yes, but
and according to the minister, the new owners that are coming in appears to be more receptible to Ghana's demand.
Yes, but then there are other South African interests, Ghana, South Africa. And so if a South African business person or business entity face a challenge like this, they will want to offer support to ensure that they are assuring their business community that wherever they operate, South Africa as a nation will try to protect their interests. And at the same time, they are also coming in to ensure that the relation between Ghana and South Africa, because we have a lot of investment and business relation.
And I just want to pause there and listen to a vice chair of the, or ranking member on the Communications Committee of Parliament, former Ghana's ambassador to South Africa, Charles Oredu, making this point.
The foreign minister, the South African foreign minister, is planning to visit Ghana and then engage Ghana's foreign minister on this particular matter. Okay. We need to, use diplomatic channels to solve this and not use for threats and then bravado. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. So this meeting today, I think that is the way to go. when they are done with the meeting, it's a communication, because the matter is now being brought to the public attention. So we will expect something at the end of the day. If it's a communique or if it's a communication at the end of the meeting, let us know the outcome, and then we'll take it up from there. But remember that the minister was asking them to reduce their cost or their prices by about 30%.
Yes.
And at that time, they raised issues with the dollar. The fact that the city had depreciated against the dollar then. So now that the dollar seems to, appreciate against the city, I don't know whether the council minister is still going to stand on that 30% decrease of prices that he insisted earlier. Because now the city is not doing well, as he said a month or two ago when this matter came up.
Right, so this is the deputy ranking member on the Communications Committee of Parliament. He is also Ghana's former ambassador to South Africa, Charles Oredu. What do you say?
Yes, so of course, as I said, there's a lot of things that the two countries can iron together. They can use this as a platform to further even advance their relations.
Right.
So I think that the South African foreign minister, deputy foreign minister coming is a good development. It allows both countries to engage even beyond DSTV MultiChoice. To look at how their deputy minister, I'm sure he will realize that at the point that we have gotten to, at least some goodwill gestures have to be given to the minister, so that at least he is not seen as a weak person who went to a negotiation without knowing the outcome. So by all means, I would say that DSTV have to come along and give some, even a little bit of price reduction that may not reflect what the minister wants. So their minister may come and then try to negotiate with Ghanaians, have an amicable solution to it. Either there will be stable price or reduction. That may be something that they will discuss. It may take a form of giving away some of some other levels of commitment between Ghana and South Africa, and that will appease the Ghanaian side to ensure that even though MultiChoice want to exit, they will exit well, and Canal Plus will take over. So, but then again, if you use the dollar, that now the dollar is virtually rising,
it's now starting to misbehave.
There is no justification for you to say reduce prices. Then that the complexity then comes in, because then even at the current rate, it is lower than the last time DSTV increased prices.
And it's still better than what pertains in Nigeria.
Yeah, the
CD against the dollar, against the naira against the dollar.
It's still better than what pertains now. But of course, these are different markets. The market dynamics in Nigeria is not the same as the market dynamic. If you look at Nigeria's population, you can reduce price and have so many people and you still make profit. If you look at our own population, given the fact that we have even allowed people from Nigeria to bring in their own decoders, that's also undercutting what MultiChoice itself is getting here. So yes, even when we consider that the dollar has started going up, at the current level, it's still not up to what was pertaining when they were increasing prices. So if you look at it, it's like MultiChoice is playing the kind of delay as long as you can delay. Particularly if you want to look at it, then maybe they will play the game that, okay, let's track the negotiation and see how the dollar will go. So if the dollar goes back to that where it was, then it means that the basis for you demanding reduction may not be there. But then again, I think that's why the minister used the price comparison across various countries to be able to stay a particular cost. So that even if the dollar goes up, you are still going to justify your cost for reduction by the cross-border comparison that he did. All right.
Doctor, before we conclude this discussion, my final question will be in terms of fairness and transparency in this particular discussion. This committee's work is to come to some agreement and then present it. The minister who is taking the position is chairing this committee. So, I mean, in terms of mindset and approach, you think it is right that Mr. Sam George is the one chairing this committee?
On one breath, that may not be the ideal situation, because then he has already taken a position. But then it's also good that he chairs it and get to know the bare facts of the issue, so that at the end of the day, if it doesn't go his way, he may be able to find a way to explain to the public that, well, perhaps the approach and my demands were not justified by the circumstances that were prevalent. And of course, I'm sure that he might have gotten some information and do a proper analysis before coming out. So on one breath, it's not so good that he himself is chairing it. Maybe they could have gotten an independent person chair that committee and bring out a report that will. But then he being there also give him the chance to negotiate his way into the whatever agreement may come out, so that at the end of the day he may also make concessions when it is necessary. All right, we'll wait for the outcome. Thank you so much for passing through. Dr. Ishmael Flovo is an international relations expert, and we've been talking about the DSTV matter. A while ago, you heard Herbert Mensah, who was the first country manager for Mnet, now DSTV. Now, we're going to take a short break here on the pod. When we return, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly moved to shut down Tinker Island, the notorious Ashtown drug den exposed. Enjoy News' Deadly Doses documentary. Good afternoon, this is Joy News, and we are still in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, bringing you exclusive interviews with leaders of the region. Now, the man I'm about to speak to started in the media landscape and then went into politics, was once the municipal chief executive for Obuasi, and now leading the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly as the mayor. He's got a lot of responsibilities on his hand because KMA obviously is always in the news. Richard Ajmambwedi, also known as King Zuba, is my guest. Zuba, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
I've known him for years, but I'm yet to understand the meaning behind the nickname Zuba.
Okay, so it happened in school when one of my friends, Richard, one break, decided to sponsor the seniors that he was sleeping with in his dormitory on a
sleeping with us in, residing in the same dormitory. Okay.
The seniors that he was sharing same room with.
Okay.
In the dormitory. So I also decided to do the same for my seniors. So I am a Foyajiman.
Okay.
At the time, I think the chief of Kwapim was also Foyajiman. And then the chief of Bitefi was also Foyajiman. So the seniors had inquired for me if I was a chief from those areas. And I told him that the name of Foyajiman is also the name of my uncle, who is also the chief of Adansi. So then they started calling me Ken. So when we were doing the Wachi Expeditious competition, our bowl ran out. So everybody in my room was calling me Ken because of the name of Foyajiman, which has been associated with 3 chiefs.
Right.
So they call him a Ken. So everybody was like Ken. So one senior Napari said Ken Zuba, meaning Zuba in Hausa means pour inside.
Okay.
So I've watched it has run out, so I should pour
inside.
So like senior was like Ken Zuba. So I bought a lot more Wachi than even Richard could buy. And so it became some spontaneous noise. Hey, Ken Zuba, Ken Zuba. So from that on,
it became your name.
It became my name, and it has stuck with me.
Great.
Since 1991.
All right. So we're going to pour a lot of.
To the extent that the president calls me Zuba.
Oh.
President Bufo once told me that I should do something about it because it's getting my name out of the system. My children, everybody calls me Zuba. So
okay.
It's become part of me.
Right. So Zuba means pour in.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do a lot of pour in today.
Sure.
I mean, you've been mayor for close to 6 months?
Started in April. Yeah, so.
Right. But you are not new to administration.
4 months,
but you are not new to administration at the local level because of your past experience as the MCE for Obuasi. But how has it been so far in charge of Kumasi, Greater Kumasi?
Whatever I'm going through is one that I expected. It's exciting, and to have the opportunity to work for your people, it's always an opportunity that many people will crave for. So I thank God that the president found me worthy to work for my people. You know me, I come from Kumasi.
Right.
I am a native of Bomso in Kumasi and Adansi for Mina. So my mother comes from Kumasi proper.
Right.
So it's not out of place that I have the opportunity to also contribute my bit to improve on the welfare and the well-being of my people. It's challenging, but it's exciting.
But the KMA is measured. I mean, the issues regarding KMA will not go away anytime soon. I mean, what are some of the challenges you've encountered so far?
One of resource. My main challenge is resource.
You don't have resources to do your work?
The creation of other assemblies out of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has created a financial problem for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Now I will explain.
You've been limited in your scope.
The volume of work for the KMA remains same. The resources that the KMA originally would depend on to carry out the responsibility, a lot of them has been taken away from the KMA because of the creation of the other assemblies.
Right.
Now, if you're going to look at the Summit Magazine Enclave, and you look at the amount of money that the area will generate in terms of our RGF potential, now it's
no longer yours.
It's gone to some municipals. Now, all the industries that are in Kumasi are in the Asukwa constituency, and Asukwa constituency now has a municipality. So it means that all the IGF that you're going to get from property rates, from fees, charges, and all those things from the Asukwa enclave now gone to the Asukwa Municipal Assembly. As we speak, Kwadaso have their own assembly. Tafo have their own assembly. So what it means in essence is that all those revenues that were coming from those areas have not been taken away from KMA.
But that should also reduce the workload.
It does not. Kumasi's main challenge is one of waste management, essentially. Waste management, sanitation, security, before infrastructure.
Right.
You understand? Now, on daily basis, we manage over 2,000 tons of waste on daily basis here within KMA. Now, most of the people who generate this waste do not come from Kumasi.
They don't live within your enclave, within your catchment area. So, for example,
now by way of population, the population within my catchment area is less than 500,000.
Less than 500,000.
But we manage over 2 million people on daily basis.
Okay, so people, for example, come from Tafo to come and do business within your catchment area and then go back.
Everybody that gets up in the morning from Offeriko Municipal Assembly comes to KMA to come to conduct business or to come and work. Anybody from Asukwa comes to KMA to conduct business or to work. Anybody from Kwadaso, it is within KMA that they come to get whatever that they need to go about their lives within the greater Kumasi enclave.
And what kind of business do they do, these individuals who come to?
Kumasi, we are principally noted for trade and commerce. So
and that would mean that they pay you tolls every day?
I'm coming. So everybody comes to the Kumasi City Market, everybody comes to Edum, everybody comes to the center. And if you are to take, do an audit of the people who are selling on our pavement, in our streets, and creating congestion, 95% of them don't live within KMA. Now, we will take money from those who are in properly designated areas, who can be captured within our fee-fixing arrangement. But those who are hawking and creating the volume of waste that gives us headache, if you're going to be taking money from them, what it means is that then you are giving them some legal backing.
Right.
So we can't capture them in our revenue mobilization drive. You understand? And they are the ones who are creating the headache for us. That's been the challenge.
Okay, so let's take it one by one. So in terms of waste management, how much, for example, are you spending on waste management on a monthly basis?
On a monthly basis, I think I need to be able to get to the figures. But previously when I came, those who were even cleaning at night sweepers, we had around 362 of them. And the money they were paying them was paltry. They were paying them at 350
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis
per cleaner.
Per cleaner. Those who do the cleaning at night per person. And I felt that the kind of work that they do, we must let it look attractive for somebody to want to come and do it. And then they had not paid them for a period of about 13 months before my coming. So what I've done is to restructure that sector. Now we have 102 people doing it, and they are receiving as much as 800 cedis per person. From 300
to 800 cedis. That's like 200% increment.
Yes, 800 cedis per person, and the supervisors too are taking 1,000 cedis per person, which is moved it somewhere close to 100,000 or there.
100,000 on a monthly basis. This is how much you are paying
for night,
those who are sweeping
in the night. In the night. Not to talk of those who do the daily cleaning between mornings and nights, and the volume of fuel that we use on daily basis to give to trucks to move around the big Kumasi metropolis to cut waste and all of that. So I should be able to give the exact figures when I have met with my finance team and with my waste management team, and then we'll be able to identify where we pay what, and then cumulatively we can come back to the figure. But we spend a lot of money on waste management.
But is KMA managing its own waste? I mean, have you contracted waste managers to be dealing with the waste issues?
Some of them.
Some of them. Not 100%. But some you are doing it on your own.
Yeah, some of them are doing it on their own.
Well, why is it so?
I have come to inherit this arrangement. So I'm not taking my time to go through them. You know, as we speak, we have a judgment debt of over 142 million, which I'm handling.
142 million Ghana cedis. That is the entire debt before KMA.
Well, and judgment debt alone. 142, not the entire debt of KMA. The entire debt of KMA is way beyond that.
Like 300 million, 400 million?
It will get to
300 million.
Yeah,
and how did this debt come about?
Irresponsible management.
How irresponsible were they?
Like we award a contract to somebody to help us manage a particular dam site, 7 months on, without any proper negotiation. We abrogate the contract without recourse to due process and the law. The person goes to court and the person secures a judgment. We are supposed to deal with the judgment. We don't deal with it. The person goes to court and gets an interest over the amount of money that is supposed to be paid to him or her, and it's calculated on an amortization basis. And you know, when it's on amortization basis, what it means is that the amount of money that is owed the person will attract a particular percentage over the year, and then it is calculated as principal in the subsequent years. So if it is 10 and it's as a 30% on amortization basis, the next year is going to be 13. The subsequent year, it is 30% over the 13 that is going to be calculated. So it kept jumping, and it's taken us to the 142 million.
And so this is a judgment that you have to clear.
Yeah.
And how are you going about clearing it?
Okay, so I've started engaging with the people that we're indebted to. There are two. One, we owe 12 million that I've had very good negotiations with, and we have come to the point whereby we are now going to take care of the person's legal fees, and then we'll implement some of the agreements that we have had with them. There's one that we are owing 7 million cedis. I've also had a good deal with them. There's one that we owe 4 million. That one too, I've also had a very good negotiation with them. And all these three, they have accepted for us to pay their legal fees, and then would comply with whatever agreements that we have, which will not necessarily get KMA to cough up money to come and pay them.
Okay.
You understand? But we'll get them to do something out of what we have that will generate some income for them to defray the amount of money that will owe them over a period of time that is clearly defined and well calculated, and then it will take us away from this burden that this financial constraints as a result of judgment that is brought on the KMA. But there's one major one which is virtually killing me, the one that we have with FICO FD. That's 20 million cedis that we are talking about here.
What kind of deal is this? What kind of contract?
What's waste management?
Waste management?
Yeah, waste management contract.
And KMA what, failed to pay?
KMA, I think, abrogated the contract wrongfully, and then they went to court and they secured a judgment, and there was inertia, and it has taken us here.
And this was between what period?
I think hers has been over 16 years. The one that is involving Figo is over 16 years.
Right.
The one that has to do with 7 million, it's over 22 years. But that one was done in 2007. That one was done in 2007.
And this will be President Kufuor's era?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was very Mama Pat's period that one occurred. And we are managing it.
But you say that is proving difficult to settle out of court?
Yeah, the good thing is that we have been able to have good discussion over the three. One that we owe 4 million,
12 million.
We owe 12, one that we owe 7. We have had good negotiations with them. The major one has been the one that we have with Figo FD.
And they don't want to accept your terms?
We are yet to even
start a discussion.
Have a discussion. We tried as much as possible. Fortunately, last week I sent somebody to go and plead with her for us to have the opportunity to negotiate. And the feedback I got from the person on Monday is that he has been able to have a very good discussion with her. And I think that between now and the next week we should be able to meet and have a good discussion. So
how much is involved in this, in the matter between KMA and Figo?
Well, I think it will not be fair for us to put the figure out. Yeah.
So this contract was signed.
That one is huge.
So this huge.
That one is huge.
And it's part of 145 million judgment that you need to settle. Yeah. And this contract was signed in 2007.
No, hers was not signed in 2007. I think it was before that. I think it was 2005. Yeah.
Okay. And beyond the judgment debts, the other debts, how are you settling them?
The major one that we have for us to deal with, which is becoming a huge strain on the resource of KMA, is the judgment debt. So once we're able to deal with them, I think we'll be able to. The other ones are monies that has to be paid with people who have carried out obligations to KMA. And as and when money comes, those ones are not.
If you pay them,
we'll be able to pay them.
We understand
because those ones have clearly defined budget lines. So once the appropriate budget lines has some funds, we should be able to pay them. That one should not be difficult.
Will I be right to say that currently, as you speak, in view of the financial distress that you are in, KMA may be described as a bankrupt institution?
I won't say so. I won't say so. When you have good assets and you don't have liquid at a particular time, you cannot be described as bankrupt.
So what kind of state is KMA in?
We're in a challenging circumstance.
And how are you going about? And then at some point we were told that even this office building virtually was in the hands of a court.
That was before I came. But KMA is a difficult situation. Even the office that we're sitting in, I had to use my own resource to furnish here.
Why?
Everything that's here is provided by myself.
Because Assembly couldn't provide the financing to do it.
I came. It was such that Assembly could not raise the money.
There was no money in the account?
It had been garnished.
Okay, so you didn't have access to that, to the finances of the KMA.
They have money in the account, but we didn't have access to the. And I needed to come and work, so I had to raise money on my own to come and furnish the office so I can come and work.
And I'm sure you probably got clearance from the local government ministry in doing such a thing.
It's a donation.
Donation to refurbish the office.
It's a donation. It's not something I'm going to take away with me, so you don't need any clients. When you are donating something.
But how will you describe how KMA got to this particular state? Is it solely because those who came before you mismanaged the affairs of the assembly?
Okay.
Or they just simply didn't care about whatever contract they went into and the implication was going to have on KMA?
Okay, so this is what I say to answer this particular question. Throughout my public life. I am not one who laments so much about the people that I took over from. I always have this belief that if they're doing it well, nobody would have changed them. So when I've come, I have to turn things around. I don't spend time, denigrating those that I came to inherit or lambasting them for whatever they did right or did wrong. So I will not be interested in going to what happened. My headache is that this is what I find myself with, and I must solve it. Just so when next there's an opportunity for somebody to come and take over for me, the person will be confronted with these challenges. I should be able to do with it before somebody takes over.
But if there's clear case of negligence, somebody must be held responsible.
If there's clear case of negligence.
But you haven't established one yet.
There are some documents that are forwarded to the Attorney General's office, and we're reviewing them.
It points to negligence or financial irregularities.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant.
But once you are forwarded to the agent office, it means...
The ones I have some difficulty at the borders on law. The appropriate person for him or her to look at is the Office of Attorney General, especially in respect of our judgment debts.
But so this relates to judgment debts?
Yeah, judgment debts are forwarded.
So the AG is to do what? To advise you on how to go with it?
To advise and aid us to get out of this legal trouble.
Okay. And you are yet to get a response from the AG's office?
No, the AG has started working on it. They have started working on them.
So am I right to say that perhaps whatever revenue that comes to KMA now obviously go to pay debts inherited?
Some.
But is that having a toll on how you are running this assembly?
Definitely. I told you that we generate over 2,000 tons of waste every day. You understand? As we speak, I need to raise about 13.8 million Ghana cedis to eliminate the city of Kumasi.
Eliminate? Yeah, provide street lights.
Provide street lights, yeah. So that we would have good visibility at night to improve on security management of our metropolis. So it's a huge challenge.
Are you getting any support from central government?
Sure. The president has directed, and our share of the common fund has appropriately been assigned.
Okay, because some
it's the very first time in a very long time that this is happening to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, because we have not had releases from the common fund directly to the KMA for a very long period of time until now.
But because you shouldn't, you should be self-sufficient.
No, the requirement of the law is that 5% out of whatever amount of money is generated in the country must be shared among the various district assemblies. It must be given to the administrator of the district assembly. I know,
right, but I'm saying that because of the strength of KMA.
When it is that the one government comes and decides not to fulfill the law, it's troubling. So it is a good thing that this president has come and at least he is respected. Meaning
the last administration KMA did not receive a share of the common fund.
They were routing it through the development authorities that they created to do that. And you see, it was denying the city managers the opportunity and the rightful authority to do what has to be done for the citizens.
But does that explain why there's so much debt?
Maybe. Maybe not.
So how much are you getting from the common fund this year, for example, or this quarter?
Unstated, but it's huge.
But it's supposed to be a public information.
Unstated is huge. You want my debtors to
come running after you. But what's the plan to utilize it?
Okay. So out of that, some will go into the construction of the 24-hour economy market. And here
you have designated a place for that.
And here at KMA, we are using, there cannot be any 24-hour market beyond Kofo.
Okay.
So we are dedicating what has to be used for the 24-hour economy market for the Kofo market reconstruction, which is so dear to the heart of the president, and the president has tasked us to complete it by December of 2026, and that he will come and commission it, and then that's where we're going to celebrate Christmas in 2026. So we are using it for the initial works that has to be done, and then subsequently the president directive that we should get some backing from central government would also come, and then it will get from ready for the good people of Kumasi.
So therefore there's dedicated funding, and for that reason we should not accept any excuse of no work done.
Well, I am very if there's any single thing that is getting my attention, it's the Akufo market, because that's where I live.
Of course.
I live at Akufo. So I will not be able to have any explanation for my people if I'm unable to deliver it to them.
Okay.
So I am determined to deliver it to them. And thankfully, the president is so much focused on giving Akufo to the good people of Kumasi. I can tell you that if there's one thing that is so dear to the heart of the president in the Ashanti region, it is the Akufo market. And I know the kinds of instruction that he gives me on the Akufo market and the monitoring that I receive on a weekly basis on the Akufo market, and desire that the president has towards the Akufo market. And I am working to satisfy the vision of His Excellency the President. And once that is a major thing on his table, once that is dear to his heart, I have no other choice than to work so hard to get it done so that the president's vision will be fulfilled.
All right, so the Kumasi Mayor is my guest here on the pause. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about decongestion, flooding, and other related matters in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. Welcome back, and of course, the Kumasi Mayor is my guest, King Zuba, known officially as Richard Ajiman-Boadi. So, Zuba, let's talk about decongestion. We'll talk about traffic, because even coming from Lancaster, please, it took us minutes to get here. Again, that should have been like a minute or so.
Maybe it took us so long. It is because the traffic light is working.
And that traffic light had been off for so long. So long, I remember.
It started working when I became mayor.
So that's a plan. So perhaps, okay, then let's start from traffic. Traffic congestion is quite an issue in Kumasi. I mean, what is the plan to deal with this?
Okay. So the roads that we can currently use in the Kumasi metropolis were designed, executed, and completed by 1985. Was done by Limex Power. At the time, the volume of cars that we had in Kumasi was not as much as we have now. Since then, we have not made any conscious effort at redesigning our roads and looking at reconstruction of our roads to take care of the volume of cars in relation to population growth. You understand?
Right.
So the number of people that live in Kumasi have increased.
Right.
The number of vehicles that now ply our roads have increased. The number of services, in fact, over the last 10 years, the service sector in the Kumasi metropolis has grown greatly. We now have a lot more insurance companies. We now have a lot more financial institutions. We now have much more hospitality installations around the metropolis.
Right.
We have become so much attractive for tourism, such that in 2024, Menchia Palace was the second most visited tourist site in Ghana.
The museum.
Yeah. And then the Kumasi Zoo, I think, is the third.
Yes, exactly. That's very true.
So if you look at the number of people that come here on tourism alone, it should tell you that traffic is gradually being driven to Kumasi. And then the number of people who come here to transact business from our neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, it keeps increasing because the potential also keeps increasing. And our people are always taking advantage of the environment to, to want to create employment for people. So Kumasi attracts vehicle and human beings on daily basis.
There's also the location.
Yeah, we are in the centralized. Yes. So we attract numbers on daily basis in terms of humans and vehicles and other things. That accounts for the number, the kinds of congestion that we have in our city. This is something we ought to have known some 5 years ago.
So we failed to plan.
We failed to plan ahead of time. Now we are confronted with it. It is as a result of this that we want to work on the Krofrom market on an urgent basis.
So that what you will decongest central market.
Once Krofrom is done, there are a lot of lorry stations that will be moved away from the KJT and Edum enclave to Krofrom. All the stations that are coming from the northern part of the country and the Sahelian countries will be taken to Krofrom.
Right.
Which will then free up some space within the KJT area. We are in engagement. We want to construct another modern lorry terminal before you get to Ofoyukum, so that we'll move all the vehicles that ply roads towards the Eastern Corridor and the other countries within the West African sub-regions, Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. We'll move them to that side, so that we can accommodate vehicles that come from the Bono and the Western North regions at Asafo.
Right.
Then the cars that will come to the Edum and the KJT enclave will be those that are intercity and those that are coming from the periphery of the Greater Kumasi enclave, and they will be able to deal with the volume, reduce it. In the next 2 years, the KJT phase 2 should be completed.
Right.
Once it is completed and it's functional, the KJT phase 2 has the capacity to take 600 cars. What we intend to do is that we will not fill up all the 600 spaces. At least we are looking at between 400 and 500 cars for us to see how it will pan out. Once all these things come to play, we'll be able to move the cars and get proper alignment so that we'll have free movement of vehicles. Krofrom market, when it's completed, a lot of people who are hawking and selling within the business district area will be sent there.
But would they move?
Yeah, we have
because
Krofrom market has over 2,500 sheds.
I get it, but would they move? That has always been the question. I remember when people were asked to move to Abinchi and other satellite markets,
they will.
And it took so long, they didn't go.
They will, because Krofrom, before it was constructed in this nature, was already active.
Okay.
That is where the second-hand shoe sellers were. It was already active. And Krofrom's location, its proximity to the central business, is 3 minutes drive away from Edum or KJT. You understand? So it will not be difficult for us to transact the kinds of business that are taking place in Edum and in KJT at Krofrom.
Okay, so in the meantime that these futuristic ideas are here to materialize, what do we do with the
futuristic ideas that we have started working on? Everyone that I've talked about, contractors are on site and we're working on them. So what we have to do is that we have to work to meet our timelines, so that once those tasks are carried out in accordance with the timelines that we have set for ourselves and we're able to deliver, we should not have any headache.
So for now, the congestion that we see at Edum, people selling on the pavements and other places that vehicles are supposed to use, you say that until the Krofrom market is up and running.
I think there's been massive improvement from what I came to inherit. When I came in as mayor, if you were to drive on the Gadgesbeck route, or 32 Boulevard, between Dufie Towers and Boss FM, it can take you 1 hour to get to there. But now, maximum 5 minutes, you should be able to get to there and do whatever you are supposed to do.
Because they have decided to move on their own.
No, we'll move them. We'll move them. The KMA decided to ensure that everybody who is selling on any street, in anywhere of the Central Business District, is cleared off. Anybody selling on the median is cleared off. This we have done effectively, and we have a team who monitor it on daily basis. What we have decided to do is, because KJT phase 2 is being constructed, a lot of people are telling us that all those who are selling there were at the market, and because of the reconstruction, they don't have any place to. And mind you, Kumasi economy thrives on trade and commerce.
Absolutely.
So we are trying to accommodate them on the pavement, even though ideally, that should not be the case. But what we have tried to do is that we will not allow them to sell on the streets. We are not allowing them to sell on the streets, and as a result of that, the vehicles are moving, and they are moving at a faster pace now than what I came to inherit.
Okay. So outside of the business district, like for example, the situation that we experienced this morning from Lancaster to this place, because the road is small, so many vehicles are coming to a doom and some leaving. The suggestion is for some has been, why don't we make some of the roads one way in and then find another way to get them out so that the movement is quite smooth. I don't know whether the Assembly's engineers are considering some of these objections.
Okay, so if you go back to your morning show on Love FM and ask for the 2 interviews that I have done there and they play back the tapes to you, you would realize that these are things that I've spoken about, that we want to convert most parts of the central business district into one-way routes. And we would begin with from the Dufie Towers, the UTC, when you get to they call it as a for interchange, but I call it's an overpass, overhead bridge. When you get to that area where Dufie Towers is,
right,
from Dufie Towers through where Takrade flour mills have their installation, on your left is the Achemperene's Palace. That originally is a one-way route to turn to the Challenge Bookshop towards Asida House, then to hit A-Life. It's a one-way route. I want to extend it through Josmo, through the railway police station in between Ankeni and Hagan and the railway police station, through Edward Nazar, through Boss FM, through Hello FM, and then turn around the Otumfo roundabout, and then come towards where the Santasi taxi station is.
Right.
Enter through the Pempe the second road to hit the Prudential intersection. Go through former Chadukov shop was where the GNTC used to be formerly. Towards that road to hit the Malcolm Road. Then at the traffic light on the Pempe the Second Street, just after the after Malcolm, it will take you to left on the same route to link you to Asida House. We want to begin with that one and pilot it for us to see the outcome. If it works out good, we will extend to other areas. Now, when this happens, what is going to happen is that, you know, the old Whitechapel shop where it was,
yes,
there where Tony's Pride used to be. From there towards Boss FM, that road will become redundant. So we are going to create street markets.
Street markets?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that encourage hawkers?
Yeah, because we have to look for somewhere for the hawkers too. In London, there are street markets. Any modern city has street markets. So we will regulate them for them to be there. And if there's a particular stretch where there are phone sellers, we will not allow people who come to sell phones to be in that particular street. And then the one in front of Samba Hotel would be used to link to Nankani and Hagan and Railway Police. Just in case somebody drives on it and misses his way, the person can conveniently maneuver through that stretch and get to the main road. But in between where Topman is towards where Kofkans, electronics is in front of Avos.
Is it a Kesben, the road that leads to Kesben?
Yeah, from the Kesben road, there's a route down in front of Topman.
Right.
That links you to, where is the shop? Rigogo. That takes you there. Towards as mayor of the city, I'm supposed to go everywhere. Of course. Your producers are amazed at how I'm mentioning the places and the shops, taking you to Rigo. That would also become redundant, and we'll also do another street market back at them. There's something I've spoken about at the executive committee. I've spoken about it to the assembly. So my fiscal planning department and the urban roads department are working out the fine lines so that we'll present it to the assembly for final approval. Once the assembly approves it, we'll start the implementation. And I'm sure that one will also help us to improve on mobility of vehicles whenever they are within the central business district.
And everything you're talking about will require funding. Here's the case, you may not get all you need from central government. Your common fund will not be able to meets all the nice plans that you have. You already have debt that you are settling. But is there any way you are using this office to attract investment outside the borders of Ghana?
Yeah. So between 7th to 9th October, Kumasi is going to have a huge investment forum. And the partnership and the direction of His Royal Highness Otumfuo 82, the second, the Asante and the Overlord. It is because of the benevolence that we have somewhere to live and work. And he is bringing together all his grandsons and people with resources to come and look at the opportunities that we have here in Kumasi for them to take advantage of. What is going to happen is that our chiefs will lead in providing land for those investments, and the KMA will also give a moratorium on some of the payments that if you come to start up any business in the metropolis, you'd have to embark on. We're going to give a 5-year grace period. You will not pay anything to the KMA, and we want, as much as possible, attract a lot of investment. Fortunately, we are getting good responses because people's houses have been sent out. We are getting good responses. Anything that happens with the direction of Otumfuo is automatically blessed. It gets us the results, and so I'm sure that one is also going to get us a lot of resource.
Now let's spend some time on flooding. I mean, some months ago, I mean, the airport area became, you know, a matter of national attention when the whole place was, you know, submerged. I know that part of it is not under your control, but what is the plan? What have you done about it so far?
So we have met the Garrett team. We are studying what has been done in the Greater Accra region in relation to what was done with Odo River and how it's helped to manage and mitigate the difficulties that flooding portends for our cities. And they have been here with the World Bank team. We have done the feasibility studies. We have done the verifications to we completed that work until last week Wednesday. They are here to present the final report to me, and the World Bank is ready to assist us to deal with that particular problem.
The flooding matter.
The World Bank is ready to assist us to deal with that problem. So once the feasibility work, which has been carried out, is completed, I'm sure the World Bank would fund some of the areas. I think they have chosen about 3 areas that they will fund. But beyond that,
right?
Beyond that, is for us to identify a much more sustainable means to manage and deal with it in the long term, especially in the Ahuju area where a lot of first-class residences are located and there are a lot of businesses there too. We are thinking about how to, but for starters, we are looking at how to get the Garrett project be carried out here in our city.
But until then, folks who live in those areas will continue to live in fear, especially when it rains.
They will not live in fear. We have done a lot of desilting. But those things are, somebody will say they are first aid measures. We have done a lot of desilting. Even here we came up, demolished about 18 buildings.
18 structures.
Yeah,
I remember you wanted to pull down even one that belongs to KMA.
Yeah. Yeah, we have demolished a lot of structures.
So, and these structures were sited in waterways?
Yeah, I've demolished a lot of them.
But they had permits to build?
Not all of them. Some of them didn't have permits. Some of them, about 60 of them didn't have permits. Yeah. So if you have permits, we'll get it down and then compensate you. So we are dealing with it.
But you know, Kumasi is home of small businesses. Is there any support that they may be getting from this office? Apart from creating the enabling environment for them to strive.
There are a lot of anticipations that the president has put out, which people are routing through this office to get access to. There's a national apprenticeship program, there's a Jumera, and all these ones are geared towards making sure that we're both champions of the private sector with small beginnings. And a lot of them are coming through KMA to get those assistance. Even as we speak, Feed Ghana is in the metropolis, and we are trying to identify small-scale farmers that government can aid for them to establish for small farmers, especially using schools as case studies to make sure that we do small farming that has the potential to generate income.
I ask because, you know, I mean, if this is rolled out well and is successful, it will reduce unemployment in the Kumasi metropolis. I mean, this week, for example, one of my colleagues at Love FM put together a documentary about how people have resorted to illicit drugs. There's a place called Tinker Island where people, females, males, some old, they want to quit, but they cannot quit, and now they are wasting away.
We have sent about 380 of them to rehabilitation centers. We have sent them to 5 rehabilitation homes.
380 of such individuals?
Yeah. From Tinker. We have sent about 380 of them to rehabilitation.
How does that make you feel as a young person and seeing this on television?
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I grew up in Ashtown. I grew up in Ashtown and Swami. So I know this at first hand, and I know it's negative. But sometimes I tell people that we only thank God that we grew up in that environment and it didn't have influence over us. But, you know, parenting is one thing that we must give a lot of consideration to. I grew up not in any affluent area.
Yeah. Clearly in a compound setting.
Yeah, and I grew up in a compound setting. My mother, for instance, ensured that I was not doing what everybody in our house was doing. My mother ensured that I was doing something different other than what everybody's child was doing. Growing up, I knew how to play football. I was a very good footballer, but mother would not allow me to go and play football. She would always ensure that when you come home, you're working on your homework. She's a teacher. You're working on your homework, and then you're getting prepared for the next day's activity at school. So we're not allowed to go out there to witness some of these things, which was rampant in where I grew up. Back in Swami, as soon as I get up my house, the next person you see is somebody who is selling weed. You understand? As soon as I get to my house, the next person I see is selling weed. You understand? But my parents made sure that those ones did not have any influence. It's unfortunate that a lot of young people who could prove as good human resource for the development and growth of our economy and our country are in that particular situation. We will continue to pray for them. We are doing our best. We're trying as much as possible. KMA is being responsible for that rehabilitation that is taking place. We are trying everything possible to get them out. I only hope and pray that those that we are working on upon the routine that they will go through will not come back. Unfortunately, if you look at them critically, a lot of them too do not come from Kumasi. Most of them come from Offenso, some of them from Bekwai and other areas. And
but is it possible to close down Tinker Island?
We are working towards it. It's not. If I tell you it's going to be easy, I'll be bragging, because the major challenge will not be those who use the drugs. It will not be those who come there to sell, but it is those who don't come there and are the source of the business and are very difficult to find. We can get rid of everybody, but once the supply has not been curtailed, we will still have job to do. Even as we embarked on getting rid of those who are Tinker, a lot of them are now regrouping at Abyss Park.
To go and do the same thing?
They're doing the same thing there. There's one charcoal seller that I've asked that next week we are going to evacuate her. She should leave the place, because the stories that I'm hearing about her charcoal sales and what is going on there, it's not good at all. So we'll get her out, and it must be a concerted effort. It must not be one that should be left for security agencies and city authorities alone. Everybody. There are people who live at Tinker. There are people who own houses there. You have a house. People have come to turn the place into a drug den. You're not complaining. You're not doing anything about it. The police will come. They only carry out a suit. You cannot come and sleep there on 24-hour basis. They'll carry out a suit. We'll arrest them. We'll take them to either custody or you take them to rehabilitation. Another set of drug users will come, and then when they come, they influence another set, and it keeps growing. There's a particular area in Swami, Impasse, where you go there, it's as if they are come to the sports stadium to come and watch football. The number is huge.
It's becoming a widespread issue.
It's a headache.
Yes, it is becoming a national issue, especially for the region.
It is a national issue. That's why I'm saying that we must be one that everybody must see him or herself as part of, so that we don't leave it for city authorities and the security institutions alone. Let's do it together.
And that feed into my next question of law and order within the metropolis. How will you rate it? There's been pockets of robberies here and there, stealing here and there in Kumasi. Sometimes walking in the night in certain areas is becoming quite, scary.
Well, I say, our security, we are doing good. I rate them over 80%. The police has been doing a very wonderful job within the Kumasi metropolis. I go around myself every night. I go around myself every night. There are two things I go out to look for. If all checkpoints are in place and the police are active and doing their job rightly, and to also go and see if they have felt anywhere that has been left, which my waste management officer would love to give attention to. So these are the kinds of things I do every time in the night. I do this on daily basis. Okay. And I'll say that wherever I have to see that the police officers are there, they are there and they are doing their work. Wherever that some military men have to assist by way of patrol, they are there, and the two institutions are helping us and they are managing security for us. Crime is something that you cannot eradicate completely.
Absolutely.
So one or two will emerge over time, but they're doing well. And I'll commend the new regional police commander, Mr. Tekuju. He hardly sleeps. He's also always on the ground, making sure that he gives the right supervision for the policemen to do what they have to do for us.
I'm bringing this conversation to a close, but few issues. Just one issue, and then we'll talk about how this translates into making the NDC look good in a region that is so hostile to your political belief. But because you once served as, MCU for Boise, and you also have your root linked to Adanse, personally, how do you deal with this Galamsey issue?
Okay. I have a difficulty in addressing some of these things because the tendency for media to twist what you say with your good intention is high. But honestly, personally, I feel our approach at dealing with the Galamsey issue is wrong.
What should be the approach then?
God has never made mistakes since creation. Whatever God gave to us, He gave to us with a purpose and a reason. Mining, whether it is done by an industrial one or a small-scale facility, is hazardous activity. Every mining destroys land. Every mining destroys water resource. What has to be done is mitigation. Mitigating the hazards that are associated with mining. Is there the knowledge and is there technology? I'll tell you yes. If you go to Obuasi, in Sansu, there are 19 river bodies that are extinct. They don't exist anymore. Those were not done by a small-scale mining. It was done by an industrial mining institution. Pompo, we had to use excavating machines to create another river channel for Pompo. If the river had not been destroyed beyond recognition, there's no way we would use excavators to create a river channel for Pompo to exist. That one was not done by small-scale miners. It was done by an industrial mining. If you go to Obuasi and you go and stand around Kokotezwa, and you see where the Senate Dam is, that one is destroyed perpetually. There's no way you can reclaim that set of area. There's nothing you can do. It is destroyed permanently.
And this was not done by illegal miners?
It was not done by illegal miners. But you see, you go to a mining site after they are done with their mine. I'll give you an example. Take your cameras, go to Sansu open pit, go and see the pit that is there. To reclaim it, the company would have to cough up over $245 million to be able to backfill that hole, which is not created by small-scale miners.
No.
And nobody's making noise about it. We are here because of stereotyping.
But they're also destroying the environment. I mean, it's evident.
So I'm saying that mining destroys lands. destroy, whether large scale or small scale. It does. What the large scale mining companies do is to mitigate the hazards. So once they are done with mining, where they have to do backfilling, they do backfilling with the supervision of EPA and the appropriate agencies. You understand? Where they have to treat the water, they treat it. If you go to Dankwaya Estate, for instance, you see a particular stream with signages. Don't drink from this river. Don't use it to wash clothes. Don't eat fish from this river. So virtually, you can't use that river for any other thing. If the river is not contaminated or destroyed, why would they give that signage? But before that river comes to that stream, it is treated at a point by a company, P2W. They treat it and minimize the dangers associated with the chemicals that are contained in the river. When the river gets into a bigger river source, joins a bigger river source, naturally it will heal itself.
Right.
I know of companies in South Africa, I can give you contacts, that can aid us to clear our rivers of all the dirt that we see.
And these are the ones destroyed by illegal miners.
The ones that are destroyed. I know of a company. I can let you contact them. I can give you contacts of companies.
But you're in government. I mean, shouldn't you rather be helping the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry do this?
You asked the question.
Yes.
And I'm answering you. You asked about my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
Because KMA, there's no mining
here. There's no mining here.
Because I come from a mining area, you want to ask for my opinion on what has to be done.
Great.
So I'm telling you what I know.
It should be done.
Yeah, should be done. And I'm saying that those companies can help us to treat our waters and let them look. Ghana has a lot of hydraulical engineers. People have gone to school to study metallurgy, geology, and these ones should help us to create employment for them. You understand?
So basically,
so what we must do is proper regulation
of people who are into mining.
Of people who
regardless
are into
of their status, whether licensed or illegal.
No, illegal, I'm not talking about them. Small scale miners. You understand? So that the people will be given the right technology and know-how to do the mining. Because look, between 2023 and 8 years backwards, cumulatively, Ghana made less than $6.6 billion in terms of revenue from gold over a decade. You understand? In 2023 alone, small-scale mining sector gave us $1.9 billion.
Right.
If you were to divide $6.6 billion by 10 years, it means that annually, industrial mining was giving us less than $1 billion. True. Where small-scale mining was giving us $1.9 billion in 2023. So it tells you that the potential is the small-scale mining sector. In fact, why don't we regulate it in such a manner that we'll be able to reduce the... As for the hazards, you can't get it off. Mining, you have to talk to the land. Mining is a hazardous activity. So as for the hazard, we cannot get it off. Why can't we put in place technological measures to mitigate and deal with the hazards associated with mining and restrict people from going to areas that they will mine and will create a bigger problem for us? So that small-scale mining will be given the right, approach. We use it to create employment. Ghana will make a lot more money, but we have demonized it and we are not interested in sharing ideas that will help us to establish the sector in such a manner that it will help to build our economy.
My final question will be, you are heading this assembly, the MPs who are not, official assembly members, almost all of them are on the other side. This is a very hostile region in terms of the political belief that you hold. How are you doing it?
I'm fortunate. Most of them are my friends before they became MPs and before I became mayor. As I said, the MP for Bantamam is my classmate and my friend. We used to. He sat in front of me when we were in sixth form. Growing up as young boys, myself, himself, Kingsley Nimo, Makoni, we used to hang out, and do things together at Bantama. What differences we had was political.
Right.
But we are friends. Sika is my friend, my buddy, up to now. You know, Sika is mine. He's my buddy. My friend like that, like my brother. You understand? And then Akwesi Kunedu too is my good friend. So these three, I have good relationship with these three. Rabu Biabwa is a cousin to one of my cousins. You know, Ashanti is how we live. Yeah. He's a cousin to my cousins, Lawrence Yansari. He's a cousin to them. So once this one is a cousin to, you know, we relate like, you know, relatives. So we also have a good working relationship. And Honorable Bafo, the MP for
Manchester South,
he didn't do well. It was my brother and who was supposed to be the MP, but they went to the primaries and then he beat my brother to it. But he's been the most supportive
of everything that you do.
He's been the most supportive of everything that I do. So my thinking is that developing Kumasi, we see ourselves as Kumasi for other than politicians. That's what we should see ourselves as, right. Kumasi for us, because Kumasi will not look at MPP or NDC when it comes to what has to be delivered.
Yes.
You understand? Now it is NDC that's managing the affairs of the country and our mayor. Help me. Let's do Kumasi in such a manner that they would see us having collaborated well to deliver on the mandate that we all have, which should align for us to see the kind of Kumasi that I want to see, a very robust, resilient Kumasi. I want to see the Kumasi in the next 5 years where we'll have an international center for conferences. I want to see the kind of Kumasi where people will move freely. I want to see the kind of Kumasi where tourism will be boosted. I want to see the kind of Kumasi where our international airport functions fully. And I'm sure they see the same thing. I want to see the kind of Kumasi that President Mahama wishes for the good people of Ashanti region. And we should all work towards achieving that goal. At the end of the day, it is the citizens of Kumasi who will benefit. And those are our friends, our aunties, our uncles, our relatives, irrespective of which political party they belong to. They are family first and foremost. They have families here, I have families here. So let's work to satisfy our families.
All right. Kinzua, thank you so much. And of course, so that's been the Kumasi mayor for you. And that's how we'll end the conversation for now. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Elton Brobe. Good evening.